Hi, my name's Rene from Martha and Me Crafts. Today we're going to learn how to crochet a beautiful beaded friendship bracelet. This tutorial will guide you through the process step by step. When we're done, you'll know how to hold your hook in yarn, make a slip knot, chain stitch, and single crochet stitch. So grab your crochet hook and let's get started. What you're going to need for this project is yarn, of course, and I have chosen Lion Brand 24/7 cotton. I like it for this project because of the size of the yarn. And for this yarn, I'm going to need 4mm crochet hook. Then I will need a embroidery needle or a tapestry needle, whatever you want to call it, but it has to have a large eye, large enough to take the yarn that I'm using. And you'll need beads, and again, the opening has to be large enough to take this yarn. And then you'll need scissors. So let's get started here. We have about 3 to 4 yards of yarn that we're going to use, and you're going to want to string the beads on to the yarn. And I've already done that for us to save us a little time. And we're going to just scoot on the yarn. We're going to just scoot it over a ways, and you'll see how we use that. We're going to be crocheting for a bit before we use the yarn, so we'll just scoot it over. Now, the cut end of the yarn is called the tail end, and then the other end is called the working end, and you're going to hear me use those terms occasionally. So we take the tail end of the yarn, and we make a circle, and pinch the join of that circle and lift it up a tiny bit, because I'm going to take my fingers through there and I'm going to take that tail end and not pull it all the way through, pull it partially through, and I'll have my working end and my tail end hanging down, and I'll just pull up, and that's my slip knot. And when I put my crochet hook in there and pull down on the tail end, it tightens it right up. There's 2 accepted ways, very efficient ways to hold your crochet hook, and neither one is better than the other. There's one I prefer, but neither one of them is actually better. One way is the pencil method, where the handle of the crochet hook lays atop of your hand, and you just handle it just like you would a pencil in school. And I actually prefer the other method, which is the knife method, and I lay my hand over the handle, and I use my pointer finger to guide that a little bit, and I just prefer this, but like I say, it doesn't really matter. Now we got to hold the yarn properly also. We need a little bit of tension on yarn. You can't just leave it flopping around. Yeah, you would never get anything crocheted. So this is how we do it. Your palm up, and scoop that yarn up with your palm. And the yarn will be between the little finger and the ring finger. And then you just flip your hand over and take your ring finger and scoop up that yarn. So you can see you have yarn over your little finger, under your ring finger and your tall finger, and over your pointer finger. And then you turn your hand perpendicular to your table, and you're ready to go. Let's try that one more time. You scoop the yarn up, you turn your hand over, and notice when you turn your hand over, you feel a little drag, a little pull on the yarn between your little finger and your ring finger. That is the tension. And so we want that. Now that we have our palm down, we take our pointer finger and we scoop underneath that yarn, and then turn your hand perpendicular to the table, and you are all set. I use my tall finger and my thumb to pinch the bottom of my work, of the loop that's on the yarn. That's on the hook. I pinch the loop that's on the hook. And we're all ready to learn how to do a chain stitch. And this is why I like the knife grip, because I can just help, and I push down a little bit. I push down toward the palm of my hand, I push back, I pull up, and I have got a hook there to pull my yarn through. That was called yarn over. down, back, up. That's called yarn over. And I pull through. Now I have made 2 chain stitches. Again, let's do that. Down, back, up, pull through. Down, back, up, pull through. If you notice, I move my hand up each time I do a stitch. You don't have to. Some people don't do it, but I find it gives me a lot more control. So I've done 4, 1, 2, 3. I've done 4 chains. Let's do 5. So we're going to go down, back, up, pull through. 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 Now I have a small chain here, but I've been talking and I don't know how many stitches I've done. So this is how you can identify the stitches and count them. Lay your work out and notice what looks like V's. Each one of these V's is a chain stitch. V, 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 V. So let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have done 8 chain stitches. So we'll have to keep on. I have done this bracelet several times, and so I happen to know that I need a chain stitch foundation of 25 stitches. Now, that is very personal to me. It's because of the tension I use, and it's because of my wrist size. Some people have a looser tension. Some people have a tighter tension. Some people have a smaller wrist. Some people have a larger wrist. So we're going to just do 25 stitches for now, and I'll show you how we test and see if it's too big or too little. So we have 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, whoops, 13, 14, 15. Now my yarn and my beads are traveling up here, so I'm going to have to push it away a little further. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 20, oh, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. If you noticed, I lost my grip, the hook's grip on the yarn. It came out, but I had control because I'm always pinching just below that. It was very easy for me to get back that loop. So I have 25. I won't count them again, but I believe I have 25. And for our purposes, it doesn't matter. I have approximately 25. And this is how we're going to test and see if I have enough. I just lay my chain stitch foundation down, and I'll put my wrist down on just so from above I can see the first chain stitch. And then I'll just take this and lay it over. And it's hard to see, but my ending stitch can touch my beginning stitch without me having to stretch and without it being too loose and floppy. Now, if yours doesn't, there's no problem. It just means your tension is looser or your wrist is larger. Doesn't matter. You can just add a couple, try again, add a couple, try again till you get it right. And if it's too big, you'll just rip out. And this is how you rip out. Take your hook out and just gently rip until you have another loop. Rip, another loop. That's how you can rip out. So let's put those 2 chains back so that this will fit. And now I have the proper length of the chain stitch. So we want a bracelet. It should be joined. And this is what we're going to do. We make sure it's flat because you don't want your chain stitch length of it twisted. I mean, that wouldn't work very well. So get it flat, and then take the loop you're working with, the hook, and put the hook in the very first, hold it properly, in the very first chain stitch you made. And gather up your yarn again. And here we go. So we're going to join this by doing yarn over, pull through that first stitch you did, and then pull it through the last stitch you did. And now we have, I mean, this theoretically could be a bracelet right like this, but we want to add a little more pizzazz. So we're going to do another row, and we're going to have beads on this row, and we're going to use single crochet for this row. So this is how we do single crochet. We take our hook and we put it in the very first chain stitch. We yarn over, pull through, and now we have 2 loops on our hook. Yarn over again and pull through both of those, and that is a single crochet. This is where we get to use our beads. This is the fun part. So take those beads and pull one of them up, work it up, gather your yarn, and we're not going to do anything per se with the bead. It's just on there. It's just snugged up against the last stitch. And we're going to take our crochet hook and we're going to go into the very next chain stitch, and we're going to do another single crochet. And remember how we did that? We put our hook into the next chain stitch. We did yarn over. We pulled through until we had 2 loops, and then we yarned over and pulled through again. Now we're going to do 2 of those. We'll do it into the next chain stitch. Here we go. Crochet hook into that chain stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. Now I have threaded my bead on there. I have done 2 single crochets, and now I'm going to thread another bead on there. And this is what we're going to do all around the bracelet. If we're going to thread a bead on and then do 2 more double crochets. And it gets very simple. Oops. See, I made my stitch a little tight, but that's okay. You can work it through there. I've done 1 single crochet. Let's go into the next chain stitch and do another single crochet. And since I've done 2 single crochets, it means I need to work another bead up here. And now single crochet to the very next stitch. And remember our single crochet. We take the crochet hook, go into the stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. Now you'll continue that around the whole bracelet. And in the interest of time, I have got one all the way around, and I'm ready to finish so that we can explain about the finishing. So see, it's already cute, isn't it? All the way around. Now, this is my last stitch that I did. Oops. There it is. The beads are on the other side, so for a minute there I didn't know where I was. So we want to join and tie off. So I'm going to take my hook and I'm going to go into the next the next chain stitch, and I'm going to yarn over, pull through. I'm not going to do a stitch. I'm going to continue and pull through. So we're just joining. We're not doing a stitch. We're just joining. And then I'm going to crochet as if I'm doing a chain, but I'm not going to be doing a chain. Remember the chain, down, back, up, and pull through. Well, I'm going to keep pulling through till I have a big loop, and then I'm just going to cut that off and continue pulling through, and that makes a nice knot. So we have a really cute bracelet here, but I've got the starting tail and I've got the ending tail. We don't want that. Let me show you how to work on that. We'll take that needle I asked you to have, the one with the big eye, and we'll thread our yarn onto that. I take my yarn, I pull it up and compress it, and then it makes it a little bit easier to thread through the needle. And so I have now threaded my needle, and all we need to do, we're hiding this and we're keeping it from unraveling at the same time. So look at all these different stitches I have, and what I'm going to do is go in and out of stitches. I don't want to go through a thread itself. I want to go under the stitches, and this is a little bit dull, but you can still go through the thread, so just be careful. Just ease it. This one wants to go through the thread, but there, I've got it. And you go back and forth a little bit through several. Oop, maybe this one's a bit easier. So you just have to feel your way. And now, if I was doing this and not on video, doing this for myself, I would go quite a bit of ways around, but I'm just showing you this so you'll know how to do it. And when you get to where you feel like it's really hidden and really tight, you just take your scissors without cutting a thread. Oops, I'm sorry, I got off and cut. And then as you stretch it, the ending is buried in there. And I would do that for the other one. And then this is our finished bracelet, and it'll be really, really cute. Pick colors that'll match something you really like, and you'll just enjoy wearing this. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed making your beaded friendship bracelet as much as I did. Remember, each piece you create is unique and tells its own story. If you liked this tutorial, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more creative ideas. Don't forget to share your creations with me on social media. I'd love to see your beautiful designs. Until next time, happy hooking!